In this extraordinary moment, history seems to be on pause. Every headline, every whisper, every rumor coming out of Burkina Faso holds the weight of continents. Let's begin at the epicenter of this unfolding drama, the heart of Burkina Faso. The leaks, the memos, the notes, they all point to a relentless pursuit, a scramble for the very soul of Burkina Faso. But now let's shift focus. Let's zoom out and examine the bigger picture. What's happening in Burkina Faso resonates across Africa, echoing the struggles and aspirations of many. When we talk about gold and oil, we're not just discussing commodities. We're talking about lifeblood. These resources have the power to transform nations. If they're managed well, they can lift millions out of poverty or plunge them deeper into it. Now let's introduce a new player onto the field. China. Their growing influence in Africa is undeniable. Recently, they secured a deal with Mali, an agreement that raised eyebrows globally. China is looking at mining Mali's gold, an offer too good to be true. Reports suggest Chinese intentions go beyond mere partnerships. There's a push for total control, a desire to mold Mali's destiny in their image. The question is, why? Why is China exerting this level of control? To understand China's moves, we must look at the numbers. Consider this. Africa holds 40% of the world's gold reserves, and China needs this gold, not just for economic reasons, but for something far more potent, political influence. Let's pull back the curtain and reveal the tactics at play. China is using debt as a tool, a clever way to gain the upper hand. Take the recent deal in Zambia. Copper mines once controlled by the state are now in Chinese hands, handed over due to Zambia's inability to repay loans. It's a strategic move, one that gives China access to vital resources and levers of power. Let's bring another giant into the mix. Russia. Their stakes are equally high, but their approach is different. Unlike China's heavy-handed tactics, Russia's betting on a more subtle strategy. In the Central African Republic, Russian mercenaries have gained a foothold, offering security in exchange for mining rights. It's a classic bargain, one that leaves the locals with both hope and concern. Hope for protection, but concern over who truly holds the reins. As we analyze these international power plays, we must recognize the agency of the African people. They're not passive players in this game. They're making their voices heard, demanding change in better terms. Take the recent protests in Ghana, for example. The youth are standing up against exploitative deals, echoing the sentiment across the continent. The current crisis in Burkina Faso wasn't born overnight. It has deep roots that run through decades of exploitation. During the Cold War, Burkina Faso was a pawn, a piece in a larger geopolitical game. Its resources were eyed, its alliances were courted, and its future was shaped by powers thousands of miles away. France, a colonial relic, still cast a long shadow, controlling key sectors and maintaining a tight grip on the economy. Then came the coup, a dramatic twist in this complex narrative, led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a military figure who stepped into the spotlight. He wasn't alone. Thousands of protesters united, chanting a common refrain: down with the president, down with the system. They wanted change, a break from the past, and they got it. But this change wasn't the end. It was a beginning fraught with peril. The leaked documents revealed a grim reality. Burkina Faso was trapped in a web of secret deals, agreements that siphoned off the nation's wealth. They were forced to cede control of their gold and oil, their lifeblood, to foreign corporations. And it wasn't about fair partnerships. It was about dominance. Burkina Faso finds itself at a pivotal moment, a crossroads where decisions will echo for generations. The ultimatum presented a stark choice: submit to crippling sanctions or face engineered instability. It was a threat veiled in diplomatic language, a warning that resonated with the ghosts of Libya and Iraq. These were nations that dared to defy the status quo, nations that paid a heavy price for independence. In the global arena, there are few who mourn the fall of Kabul. Leaders across the world, from Washington to Moscow, kept their distance. Even China, a nation that often champions non-interference, had previously sanctioned Kabul, demonstrating that no leader is safe. Ibrahim Traoré, The man who embodies this turbulent change is a figure shrouded in intrigue. His background, his motivations, his journey to the seat of power are questions that linger. At 34, he's one of the youngest leaders on the African continent. His rise is meteoric, his agenda unclear. Some see him as a symbol of revolution, others as a product of France's design. Traore wasted no time in action. His first move, cutting ties with foreign contractors, signaling a shift in power. The oil fields and gold convoys became fortresses, guarded against any attempt at extraction. These bold moves, while isolating Burkina Faso economically, sent a resounding message. He was prepared to bear the cost of defiance, to endure the hardships rather than surrender. The ultimatum issued by the EU was nothing short of a declaration of war. Economic sanctions, trade embargoes, travel bans, each measure designed to weaken Burkina Faso. It was a siege, albeit one fought without weapons, but with the same intent, subjugation. And yet, in the face of this onslaught, Traore stood firm. He played the isolation card, severing ties with Western contractors, embracing the prospect of economic hardship. It was a gamble, a bet that his nation's pride was worth the potential price. In the intricate game of geopolitics, the Burkinabe find themselves holding a valuable asset: unity. Despite the internal challenges, ethnic divisions, religious differences, the nation is coalescing around one central idea: resistance. The Burkinabe flag has become a symbol of defiance. Each rally, each protest, each act of civil disobedience is a testament to this unity. Meanwhile, the African Union, the body tasked with guiding the continent's destiny, has taken a surprising stance. Rather than condemning Traore, they've embraced him, inviting him to address the Continental Assembly. It's an unprecedented platform, one that amplifies Traore's message, legitimizes his cause. Yet despite the support, the road ahead is fraught with challenges. The economic sanctions imposed by the EU are biting. Trade routes are severed, economies are strained, and ordinary citizens bear the brunt. Food shortages loom, inflation climbs, and the daily struggle becomes more pronounced. It's a harsh reality that threatens to overshadow the grand ideals of resistance. As the standoff continues, the eyes of the world are fixed on Traore. Who is this enigmatic leader, and what are his true intentions? Is he a beacon of hope, or a pawn in a larger game? Only time will reveal the answers. In this saga, however, there is one certainty. Burkina Faso stands as a microcosm of a continent in flux, a place where old systems are being challenged, where new alliances are forged, and where the future of Africa is being written in ink and blood. But here's the thing. This is not just about Burkina Faso. It's about each of us. It's about our world. So let's make sure we tell this story, not with words, but with understanding. Let's listen to the echoes of history. They're telling us something crucial. The era of exploitation is ending. A new dawn is breaking. And if we listen closely, we might hear the melody of change.